Hello friends, I'm Brian, and this is Gizmo Board Games. Today I'm reviewing an old classic, Ticket to Ride. Hopefully you can see it through my mic there. Let me move it out of the way. Boom, I've got the German version, Zug, Ticket to Ride. It's known worldwide. I'm going to spoil it, I guess, a little bit here. It's a really good game. It's a classic, and I'm sure you already know how to play. But before we get to my thoughts, I want to do my standard review procedure, and we'll go to the overhead and take a look at how to play, just in case you are unfamiliar with this game that's been out for quite a while, from Days of Wonder. I should have looked up what year. Maybe I'll insert it in. Maybe I won't. You've seen this on your shelves in Target, Walmart, everywhere, I'm sure. This game exists. Not a surprise, not a game you've not heard of. I'm sure if you're on this channel, I'm sure you've heard of this game. But anyway, we'll do the traditional review. I wanted to touch on this specific game, because I don't know how much coverage it's getting these days. Everybody's focusing on the new, and this is not a new game. So let's get some fresh reviews on an old game. And number two, it has a new legacy version coming out here, I think this year or early next year. So this should start firing up again on people's radar. There are tons of different versions of Ticket to Ride out there. I've got the standard American map here in front of me. It's the only one I have. It's the only one I've played. Although I have seen playthrough of the European version, and that looks even more fun. Anyway, let's go ahead and get to it. All right, so here you see I have it set up for 2 players. You can't see the scoring markers just off the camera there on the 0-100 space. I'm making a bunch of noise here. To go around the board, I've got a yellow opponent here. I've got my red, me here. We've each got our starting hand of 4 of our train route cards. So I've got 2 reds and 2 whites right in front of me. My opponent here, I actually didn't give them 4 cards, so see what they've got. They've got 4 reds, so right off the bat, I don't know this if I was playing for real, but we're both probably fighting for one of these red routes right off the bat. The other thing we've got in front of us is our 3 choices for our starting routes. These are where you're going to get your points. Let me see if you can get that zoomed in a little bit. So there's one of my choices, is nice long 20-point routes from Seattle to New York. I always like trying to go for the long ones right off the bat. A lot of points. So I'm definitely going to try to keep that one. My other choice is Seattle to Los Angeles. That's going to work well with this. If I'm already trying to go Seattle to New York, why don't I just try to go Seattle to Los Angeles? I just got to work my way down the west coast over there. And then Duluth to El Paso is across the middle. I don't think I'm going to have enough tracks to go down the middle if I'm going down the west coast and across the top. So I'll probably discard this one. You must keep 2. You can discard the other one or keep it. But if you don't complete the route, that's negative points. And I don't want to risk it, so I'm throwing that away. Looking at my opponent, they've got Chicago to Santa Fe. So that's going across the middle of the map, kind of in there. Duluth to Houston, another one moving kind of across the middle of the map, so they might keep that one. And then Helena to Los Angeles. They don't know that I've also got something trying to get to Los Angeles. But if they get to Santa Fe and they can go from Duluth kind of down, they might be able to accomplish them. What the heck? They'll try to keep them all and work on those routes. So we're going to be fighting over a lot of the West. We don't know this yet, but eventually we'll see it. So the gameplay, once you've determined that, you determine your starting player. And let's say, for the sake of this argument, I'll let my opponent go first. There are 3 things you can do on your turn. That is to lay down a route. That's the most important action. That's where you turn in all the cards of a color and claim that route. Or you can draw up to 2 cards from the display here. And you can take any of the face-up cards or the one off the top. Hopefully you can kind of see I've got the top of the rack there. Take that one. Or you get 1 card if you take the wild card. You've got this special wild card. It's multicolored. Pride Month right now as I film this. Whatever. The multicolor card is wild. It counts as any color when you're laying down a route. So they're good ones to take. But if you take one from the display, that's the only thing you can take. You get one wild or 2 other cards. But if you draw a wild off the top, nobody knows you drew a wild, and you can keep it and still draw another card because nobody knows you just stole a wild card. So my strategy usually is, if I know I only want one card from the display, I'll draw off the top and hope for the best, and then take one from the display. And the final action a player can take on their turn is they can draw a new ticket card. Actually, they'll draw 3 new ticket cards, look through them, and they have to keep at least one from then on. And again, if you don't complete the route, that is to get from point A on the card to point B, or vice versa, however you want to call it, they must be able to link completely across the board from Route A to Route B. If you get positive points if you do that at the end of the game, negative points if you don't. So getting into my opponent's turn, they're going to go ahead and claim, I think. They want to get to Houston and Duluth. So Duluth could be straight down here. And if you look at here, these gray spots are wild spots. Any color can claim them. So they could turn in 2 red cards and claim Duluth to Omaha, or 1 red card to claim Houston, Dallas. But off the bat, I like to hold those. Another thing you'll notice is some of them have 2 colors. In a 4-player game, or a 3-player game even, this game plays to 5. So I think it's in a 4- and 5-player game, or a 3- to 5-player game. I don't remember. I'd have to look off the bat. I'm sorry. I apologize. But definitely in a 2-player game, you can only claim one of those 2 routes. So if you claim the red route, nobody could claim the yellow route, and vice versa. Same with these down the middle. Once they're claimed once in a 2-player game, that's it. So my opponent, I think, actually will just go ahead and, what do they want to do? They want to get to Duluth to Houston. They want to get Chicago to Santa Fe. Where's Chicago at? Why can't I find it? So they might as well go ahead and turn these 3 red cards right at the bat to the discard pile. And they'll get this route claimed now. 3 red cards. They're claiming 3 spots between Chicago and Duluth because they have both Chicago and Duluth as goals. So that'll get them started on connecting some of the cities. Chicago wants to get to Santa Fe, so they can either come down this way and then work their way west to connect Chicago to Santa Fe while they're coming Duluth to Houston, and then maybe branch off towards LA, and that'll get them all 3 cards they started with. So I think that's a decent start for them. So because they played 3 tracks, right, or 3 train tracks, whatever you want to call it, they played 3 red cards. They got 3 train cards out. They're going to immediately score 4 points. Print at the bottom of the board. 3 train cards, 4 points, and now they're winning 4-0. On my turn, I again want to go up the West Coast and across the top. So I've got 2 whites. I see this big long Calgary to Winnipeg route that I'm going to almost definitely need to complete, unless I have to bounce down here because I don't know what my opponent's going to do. So I want to get some more white cards. There's a white card on the board. I will take that for 1 card, and I'll just draw off the top and see what happens. It's a yellow card, and I'll just add that to my hand. There is no hand limit in this game. You can keep drawing for as long as you want, stockpiling cards. But remember, as you're stockpiling cards, your opponents are playing on the board. So you might lose that route you were stockpiling for. But anyway, that's my turn. We'll refill the display, and my opponent will get their turn. They've only got 1 card now, so they're not going to build any route unless they just take one of these wild spots, but they probably don't want to do that right away. So I think what they're going to do is just draw 1 off the top. It's a yellow. Where did we want them to go? They kind of want to work their way down. Actually, they do want to start claiming these wild spots, but not a complete rush right now. But they do want to start working their way. So they're really looking probably for blue to connect this route towards Santa Fe so they can branch off there. And that's about it. Really, they can just get away with a lot of wild colors. So they'll just keep drawing off the top and see what they get. Another yellow. I should have shuffled these better, apparently. Lots of yellows off the top. And that's my opponent's turn. On my turn, again, I'm trying to get whites. There's no whites on the board. These yellows could, or these wilds could act as a white, but I think I'm just going to draw 1 off the top. It's green. Not helpful really right now, but I can stockpile because if I'm going down the West Coast, I'm also going to need either green or pink over here and pink and yellow over there. So none of this has been bad for me so far. And there's another green, so I'm probably going to try to get that long green and that long white, as well as I need to get up in here, because where was I trying to go again? New York City, so I need to get all the way over here somehow. Now my opponent's got 2 yellow, and you know what? They're just going to keep claiming these wild spots, because again, anybody can claim these with any colors of cards, and this is their most direct route to score a lot of points towards getting the route. So they're just going to go ahead and turn in 2 yellow cards, place 2 yellow trains, right there, and 2 trains placed will get them 2 more points, moving up the board. They're beating me 6-0 right now, and they're on the board. All right, once more around the table, I think I'm going to see here. I'm just going to take an orange, and I can't take a wild now, but I'll go ahead and grab this green, because again, that could lead me there, and we'll see what's next on there. And my opponent, again, down to one card, but they're going to go ahead and claim this Omaha to Kansas City route while they can with that one card. Place their train there, get one more point. And you're just going to keep doing this over and over again, filling up routes. So hopefully eventually I would get this route with my green cards, get this route with my white cards. I need to get to Seattle. And each of these routes, the longer the route is, the more points you're going to get. So that 6 train route right there would score me 15 points right away. This 5 train route would score me 10 points when I complete that. They're probably going to just keep working their way down here, getting these small points at the start, but completing that route. And you don't want to show when you've completed the routes because you don't want to give hints to your opponents what you're doing. You just complete the route and move on with the game. If they could branch out to Santa Fe, that's 2 routes completed for them, I believe. And I don't even know it because I'm too busy trying to get across the top before they start blocking me off on the East Coast, even though neither of us know, neither of us really care about what's going on over here. So that's a lot of the tension in the game. And the more players there are, just a bunch of tension, a bunch of fighting for points, because some of these cities just do not connect as much as you wish they would. And if everybody's fighting for routes up here, it's just going to be crazy. But you're going to keep going around the board, getting points, laying routes, collecting cards, until finally somebody gets down to the last couple of trains. That triggers the end of the game. Everybody will get one more turn around the board, and then you'll score points. So you score points for whatever routes you've laid along the way, as I've displayed, moving up the track. You'll score points for your routes completed, and you'll show them off finally. Say, I completed this route, I completed this route. Point them out, show the connections, whatever, score the points. Score negative points for the routes you didn't complete. Oh no, I couldn't quite make that one. I'm going backwards. And then finally, whoever places the single longest straight line route, no branches, whatever, from point A to a point B, it doesn't even have to be points on their cards, just the single longest straight line train route, gets this longest route card here, and this is worth, boom, a whopping 10 points right there, as you can see. And that's a big deal too. I almost always chase that one down. And like I said, my 2 routes I kept at the beginning would really go a long way, because I could just go Los Angeles straight up the West Coast, straight over the North Coast. And that's a long straight line route. And then I would probably just keep trying to continue it down one way or the other, depending on how the game played out, to try to get that all my train tracks on the same single continuous line. And that's it. That's the whole game. Whoever has the most points after all that wins. And yeah, I'll go ahead and take it back to the face cam here and give my gizmo thoughts. All right, that was a real quick overview of a game I'm sure everybody already knows how to play, but just in case, welcome aboard. Check out Ticket to Ride. I already spoke at the beginning. This is a great game. Let's get into why. So G, gameplay. It's simple, it's easy, but it's fun, it's thinky. You're racing for points on the board, you're racing to get the cards from the display that you need, because if you see that one of your opponents is grabbing green cards and you really want green cards, you know you got to grab the green cards too, at least till you fight over the same green route that you're both grabbing the cards for. So that's great. It's simple, everybody can play it. My kids were playing this at like 4 years old, 5 years old, 6 years, however old they were. I had both of them playing, my youngest with my wife, my oldest on her own. You don't have to know geography. The routes they're pointed out where the cities are on the ticket cards. You look at the board, you don't even necessarily have to read enough. If you can recognize the lettering, you can figure out where your 2 cities are, and then look at the colors and figure out how to point them together. It's small counting. The longest route you're doing is counting to 6. So this is literally a game for almost anyone. It's got some great depth of thought in trying to plan out the best routes for the strategic players like me, but also it's got ease of play that, like, my kids, my wife, my mom, my friends, everybody can be introduced to this and grasp the concept super fast. You collect colors, turn in that number of cards, lay trains on the board, get points, and that's it. That's the game. It's gameplay, smooth, easy, a little bit of thinking, fighting for area, but there's alternates. You can always make alternate routes, at least until they're all blocked by multiple players. So there's always options. It's not complex though, but it might cause you to think on the fly as you go. And it's just, the game is smooth, easy, fun, and I just enjoy the gameplay. And I haven't played this in a while. We really need to, maybe I'll keep it out and play with my family here after I'm done. I don't know. But gameplay, fun, simple, easy. And I guess I'm getting a little bit of other letters on my thing. Ingredients, the ingredients, they're nice, they're good. The cards are decent. I might sleeve them. They're getting a little warped in the use, but they're good. They're good quality cards. It's good because you're going through the deck quite frequently in this game. They got nice little plastic trains. They're sturdy enough. They get the job done. They look good. You got 5 bright, vibrant colors. You got the nice map, and again, I've got the North American map, but there are plenty other maps to use with the various different expansions, upgrades, changes, versions, whatever you want to call it. There's plenty of them now. That you could find a map that suits you, or just go with the old standard North American map. So it's good. It's a good map. I like the art. It's simple. It's hand-drawn artwork is nice. The cards have the map themselves on it, so you can find your points. Just look at the map, look at where they are on the board. It makes it easy to play, even if you're not familiar with the geography. It's great. It's great old-fashioned map-looking artwork, and it's just I really appreciate it, even if you may or may not like it. The style, it looks good to me as, someone who likes history and geography, and it's just got that old-timey drawn map feel on the board. The plastic components, the wooden score trackers, mine's got a nice plastic insert. It's all really good quality, good ingredients. Z, is it easy to play? Yes, I covered that already when I was talking about the gameplay, but it's 3 actions. You're drawing up to 2 cards, or 3 new tickets where you just pick one and discard the rest, or keep all 3, whatever. And you're playing routes. You're counting up to 6 and matching those color cards with spots on the board, laying your trains out, and just trying to get from point A to point B, where the information is available to you on your ticket cards. You don't have to think. You don't have to know the geography. You just check out your card, match it to the board, and go, okay, I need to get these black and that blue, and then I can connect these 2 cities together. You can see the points on the card, what the value of connecting that route is worth, or what it's worth if you don't succeed at connecting that route. So, you might not want to hold on to that 22-point card if you don't think you're going to be able to get it done. Like my daughter usually goes for the short routes because she knows she can complete them. Me, I like to take the risk on going for the long route early in the game and trying to get those big points. And her small route could get in the way of my big route, and then she's happy because she blocked me. So, yeah, whether you want to play the long game or the short, like little spurts of points game, the options are there for you, and the complexity isn't that tough. So, very easy game to play. More of it. Do I want more of it? How's the replayability? The replayability is really good. We got a big old stack of ticket cards. You're going to connect almost every city to almost every other city. Oops. Well, this isn't all ticket cards. I made the stack look bigger than it needed to be. But still, it's a pretty chunky track or size ticket deck for all the routes of any relative distance across the board are going to be worth varying points. Just the way the game plays, cycling through the colors of cards, having different routes to collect. The various versions of the game give you more options for maps and other advanced different components or options for each of the individual expansions if you get those. So I think there's plenty of variability here without being overly complex. So yeah, it could get samey, I guess, a little bit, because eventually you're only doing 3 actions, and so that feel could make it so that way you might get tired of it if you're playing a lot. But this game has really lasted a long time, so I don't think people have been getting tired of it. I'm not tired of it. I haven't pulled it out in a while, so that might help, but I could play it right now and be happy, and I could introduce this to a bunch of people, and that's why I think it's got life. It's had life. More of it, yes, please. Just a nice step up from what non-gamers play into our hobby, and that's probably its greatest aspect. It's one of those gateway games that that you can find anywhere and welcome people into the hobby with. And so that on its own has cemented this as a game that you should always be looking to play and get more people introduced into the hobby with a game that isn't complex and still is just as fun and just as thinky as some of the other games you might enjoy more if you are a board gamer. And if you're not a board gamer, check this out. It's simple, it's fun, it's easy, and it might get you into my hobby that I love. So if you're here because you're not a gamer and just saw this on Target, welcome. Welcome to my hobby. Check this game out for sure and get back to me, and I'll let you know other games that you might enjoy. If you let me know what you enjoyed about this game, if you enjoyed it. I assume you did. I don't know anybody who does not like Ticket to Ride. So check it out. All right, finally, originality. It's an old game, so it's hard to put my mind back in the time where this came out. It's putting pieces on the board, building train routes. Trains are as old as time, but this is one of the original games that gets people in the hobby. So yes, original, sure, it's original. Even if it's not, I'm happy to say it's a very original game. It's got people into the hobby. It's helped this hobby. I mentioned this just a minute ago. I'm not going to go on it anymore. But just the ease of play, the concepts of getting everybody here, complexity at a minimal, but still there with some thinking points. I'm happy with this. It's, in my eyes, one of the old original games that is a must-have for any collection. So therefore, I'm giving it a thumbs up for originality, even if it might not be the most original for its time. I don't even care. It's an original game. It's an old classic. I love it. There you go. All right, so finally, we covered the gameplay, how to play it. We covered my Gizmo rating scale. Let's get into my final thoughts here and my rating. So first of all, I've already said it. I love this game. It's an old classic. I might not play it that much. I might have advanced past it in my hobbiness, but I'm happy to pull it out and play it anytime, anywhere. Come on over right now. It's already set out. Let's get it rolling. So I just really enjoy this game. So I give this a 4.5 out of 5 gizmos. It's such an enjoyable game. I might have to give it a 5 out of 5 now that I've done this review, but in my ratings, it's a 4 out of 5. I think it's in my top 50 or just outside of my top 50. I don't quite recall. And that's all of this, I think, is based on not playing it, because now that I've got it set up and I'm sitting here, I'm like, this is such a good game, that maybe I should rate it higher than that. But right now it's an 8.8, I believe, out of 10 on the Board Game Geek scale, and that's still an outstanding score, outstanding game. You should check it out if you haven't already. Ticket to Ride. Go grab it at Walmart, I think, right now. You can go get it. Go pick it up right now. Play it. Money back guaranteed, maybe. I don't know. I don't know you, but I can't imagine somebody's going to pick up this game and play it and not at least get some level of enjoyment out of it. It's such a good game, and I recommend it wholeheartedly. So Gizmo seal of approval, or whatever you want to call it. Just such a great classic game, Ticket to Ride. And there you have it. There's my thoughts, my review of Ticket to Ride. So give this video a thumbs up if you liked this video. If you have played Ticket to Ride, I don't know who hasn't, but if you haven't, play it. Get back to me. Let me know in the comments below if this helped sway your opinion on it. I think everybody should check this out. If you're in my hobby, you've definitely played this game. If you haven't, let me know, because I don't know who you are. If you're in the board game hobby and you haven't played Ticket to Ride, that's weird. Let me know in the comments below why you haven't played it. And subscribe if you haven't already to my channel. I put out a new video every week. Reviews, comments, content, just random musings, whatever the case is. I put out at least one new video every week. And I look forward to having you back. I will see you next time. Goodbye.